What up, YouTube? Welcome to my debut episode of Don't Watch This Review, because why the fuck would you watch this? It turns out I do want to be an e-boy, and I want to be like 90% of YouTube and just talk about movies. So this is a new thing I'm going to try out. We'll see where it goes. It all depends on if you guys, like my shit or not. So let's get started. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about JoJo Rabbit, directed by Taika Waititi. If my editing is correct, there should be a poster right up there. If it's not, just remember that I am new at this, so it may take me a little bit to figure out the technical aspects of it all. For those of you who don't know, this movie is set in World War II. It stars, what's his name? Roman Griffin Davis as JoJo Betzer. I also have notes because I don't know all this shit by heart. JoJo is this like Nazi fanatic. Who wasn't in World War II? Basically, it's about his love of Nazism, and he has an imaginary friend named Hitler, also played by Taika Waititi. Beast. And he comes across this Jewish girl named Elsa, who is living in his house, so not very hype. But it's kind of about their relationship and him dealing with his imaginary friend and their relationship. So it was a very good story, basically. So first, I just want to talk about the performances a little bit. Brian Griffin Davis was also a beast for his first ever performance on a big movie or anything like that. He really knocked it out of the park. So did the girl that played Elsa. I don't have her name at the moment. Scarlett Johansson and Sam Rockwell were about as good as you would expect them both to be. She was his mom, and he was this army captain, and he has this accomplice who's played by Alfie Allen, aka Theon Greyjoy. And every scene, he didn't really get a lot of dialogue or anything like that, but every scene he was in, he completely stole it. Taika's Hitler was also really funny, but I have a little bit of an issue with it, but I can get into that later. As a movie itself, really fucking good. It's probably my favorite movie I've seen this year. His funniest for sure out of all of his movies, and probably his best. Let's be honest. All of his movies have this kind of childlike humor, and some people vibe with it, some people don't. I am sort of in the middle. I think it works, and it definitely works in this movie. He's good at kind of doing emotional and funny and mixing them together, and in this movie it's so seamless that the funny beats hit hard, but when the emotional beats come in, it hits even harder, and it balances each other out so well. I also think that the comedy is pretty self-aware, and I think they use the Nazi satire to their advantage, and they kind of know the subject matter can be a little touchy, but they use it very well. And like I said, it is self-aware, so they kind of don't take themselves too seriously, and it works very well. If you've seen any of the marketing for the movie, it kind of does a good job at making you think that it's about one thing. It's about him kind of fitting in, and about him acting your age. It's got that one part in the trailer where she's you just want to be in some fancy uniform and fit in, which is sort of true. But what I think the movie is really about is kind of dealing with tragedy, and bad things happen, but how are you going to deal with that, and how once it does happen, how are you going to get through the next step and just keep going. And the way they do it is beautiful. It kind of hits you out of nowhere. It's funny the whole movie, and it kind of this one scene takes this transition, and it becomes something completely different for the last 30 minutes. And it's set up so well, so that's why it works very well, and it just fucked me up pretty hard. Also, for a movie set in World War II, it's not really a war film, but even though it's heavily set around Nazism and the war, it's very vibrant. Like I said, he has this childlike like lens that he kind of puts on all of his movies, and it kind of like pops. Like if you've ever seen Thor Ragnarok, it definitely like is out there, and this is like sort of the same thing but with like a historical like palette, and it just like it really is like just bright and shiny, and it looks very good. The only thing I would really have an issue with is, like I said, I do like Taika as Hitler. He's fucking hilarious, but it hits you with it a lot out of the gate, and then like over time, like it gets used up a little bit, and that humor is like it's like a little bit offbeat, and I don't vibe with it that much. And it like towards the end, I didn't really like it as much, but I do like how the character of Hitler, while it is its own character, it definitely is kind of like JoJo's like subconscious in a way, and like through the movie, it's the relationship starts out one way, and then just builds and it changes, and it's all him dealing with his like inner conscience rather than just like another person, if that makes sense. If I were to give this movie some kind of like rating, I usually like to do it out of 10 because there are so many factors that go into a movie being good or bad. But this movie I definitely give like a 9.5. I mean, it's the strongest of all of his films, so I kind of have like a little bias. And it's a beautiful film, guys. I mean, it's so good. Like it makes you laugh, makes you cry. It like goes full circle, and it will fuck you up like bad. Like I said, I mean, it's my favorite movie of the year, and that's kind of saying something. There have been like some good movies that have come out this year, nothing like off the top, but this one, it knocked it out of the park for sure. I'd love to know what you thought about it. Your thoughts probably aren't as good as mine because I probably like movies more than you do, but like I'm still down to listen to whatever. I don't know how like regular this is gonna be. Again, if you like and subscribe my shit, I'm sorry. I have to say that. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so it's just like the way it goes now. I sincerely apologize. But seriously, I'm very excited. I don't know how many like reviews I'm gonna do, or like if I'm gonna like switch it up a little bit. I'd love some feedback. Tell me if I suck. Tell me how bad I suck. Tell me if I should never do this again. And all that, all that good stuff. But if you're gonna take anything out of this, just a nice thank you. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I spent like 30 minutes doing this, so I will see y'all bitches later. That was fucking lame. I don't know how to end